Halo pemirsa, kembali berjumpa di Bincang-Bincang bersama saya Regina Mangkei. Gubernur Sulawesi Utara Julius Salvanus mengatakan salah satu visinya adalah untuk mengembangkan pariwisata di Sulawesi Utara. Dan salah satu pariwisata yang punya potensi yang cukup besar di Sulawesi Utara adalah pariwisata yang berbasis minat khusus atau special interest tourism, di mana untuk sport tourism termasuk di dalamnya. Nah, kira-kira apa saja yang harus dilakukan oleh pemerintah Provinsi Sulawesi Utara untuk mengembangkan pariwisata minat khusus ini? Dan kita akan membahasnya kali ini dalam bincang-bincang bersama narasumber yang sudah bersama dengan saya. Yang pertama ada Pak Drevi Malalantang, selaku staf khusus bidang pariwisata pemerintah Provinsi Sulawesi Utara. Halo Pak, apa kabar?
Kabar baik, Regina.
Dan yang kedua ada Mr. Tony Lee, ini dari Singapura, seorang praktisi pariwisata dan juga Coach Constant Win. Halo, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oke, kita ke Pak Drevi dulu ya. Kita lihat ini Sulawesi Utara punya bentangan alam yang luar biasa. Ada gunung, ada laut. Nah, kalau dilihat Pak, ini sebenarnya untuk Sulawesi Utara sendiri potensi terbesarnya untuk pariwisata apa saja?
Kita punya potensi yang luar biasa ya. Dan pariwisata ini adalah salah satu prime mover dari Bapak Gubernur Julius Salvanus SE yang saat ini lagi diangkat dan dikembangkan. Terutama wisata alam, tadi sudah dibilang kita punya garis pantai yang sangat panjang, kita punya laut yang bagus, ya, pantai yang bagus, punya bukit gunung yang bagus. Seperti tema pariwisatanya Pak Gubernur adalah Blue Sea, Blue Sky, dan Greenland. Dan itu memang luar biasa dimiliki oleh Sulawesi Utara. Kita punya laut yang biru, kemudian langit yang biru, means bebas polusi. Kemudian sepanjang mata memandang kita punya daratan yang hijau. Dan ini akan menjadi sesuatu yang sangat indah untuk dikolaborasi dengan sport tourism. Sport tourism ini atau special interest tourism itu sangat erat dan menyatu dengan alam. Jadi orang bisa datang berwisata sekaligus menikmati keindahan alam. Jadi atraksinya itu sangat dekat atau melekat dengan alam. Apakah itu pantai, laut, ataupun gunung, hutan, dan lain-lain. Seperti itu.
Melihat Sulawesi Utara punya potensi yang luar biasa untuk mengembangkan pariwisata minat khusus ini, terutama sport tourism, Pak Drevi. Nah, kira-kira dalam beberapa waktu ke depan, mungkin 5-10 tahun ke depan, adakah target-target dari pemerintah Provinsi Sulawesi Utara terkait dengan pengembangan special interest tourism ini?
Gubernur kita ini mempunyai concern ada dua hal terutama yang terkait dengan pariwisata. Itu ada pariwisata dan olahraga. Ya, seperti topik kita ini sport and tourism. Jadi memang hal yang memang menjadi concern dari pemerintah provinsi, dan itu saat ini sedang dikembangkan. Kita sebentar lagi akan punya stadion yang selama ini belum pernah ada.
Stadion apa ini, Pak?
Stadion olahraga.
Ya,
itu sudah jadi program dari Bapak Gubernur. Dan alam kita ini memang akan menjadi venue yang luar biasa. Ya. Kita punya Danau Tondano yang bisa dijadikan venue untuk sport tourism, apakah itu lari maraton ataupun paddling ataupun sailing di danau, dan ini adalah satu potensi yang luar biasa yang kita miliki, yang perlu nanti dikembangkan ke depan.
Oke. Kita ingin ke Mr. Tony Lee. Mr. Tony sudah 5 kali. You have visited North Sulawesi for 5 times. So, based on your experience here, what is the key attraction or unique selling point of North Sulawesi?
That's a very good question. First of all, I think North Sulawesi has got the most natural, what I call, environment for diving, for paddling, for sightseeing, for mountain climbing, and also maybe, who knows, maybe one day road bikes might come here. You know, mountain bikes will be biking around the mountains and so on. So in terms of potential, this whole place here, there is a lot of potential, the way I see it. And for me personally, I come here because I have a good friend here, and because our association is with stand-up paddling, and so we have actually started bringing people here for stand-up paddling. And I will tell you that people who have come here to paddle and they go back to Singapore, they are all talking about the place and it's so nice, and everybody says they want to come back again. So the potential here is great. Yeah.
The potential is great. You say the most natural environment.
The environment
You
here,
didn't find in another place.
it's not that we can't find another place. I mean, first of all, you have an open sea, but your water here is calm. Basically, I see it as calm. Of course, we have wind, but when you look at the sea, you know that this place you can paddle. But if I, let's say, look out to this sea now, and if I see a lot of wave, a lot of maybe 1 meter wave, 2 meter wave, like Bali, for example, then this will not be for SUP. It will be now used for what they call surf SUP. That means we surf
SUP.
with a paddle,
Okay.
right? But here you have an excellent place, so that means that people who are old, who are young, they can come and paddle. In fact, one of our trip, we have the oldest paddler that joined us was 75 years old.
75
Yeah.
years.
75 years old. And he paddled from here to Bunaken, and he also went
From
to
here to Bunaken.
Bunaken,
Stand up paddle.
stand up paddle.
Wow.
And then he also paddled from on the lake Tornado.
Tornado.
That's where he paddled up and back. So for me, it's like if a 75 years old man can do it, and he's not very strong, but he do it, I think it can be open to anybody.
Wah, it's very interesting. 75 tahun turis asal Singapura ya. Pedal dari Teluk Manado sampai ke Bunaken dan sangat menarik katanya dan ingin kembali lagi. You want to come here again?
Yeah, they want to come back here again. Yeah.
Bagaimana tanggapannya Pak Devi mengenai ini? Bahkan orang dari Singapura juga sangat tertarik untuk paddling ya di Teluk Manado hingga ke Bunaken. Kira-kira bagaimana tanggapan pemerintah atas hal ini? Tapi kita akan jawab usai jeda berikut. Kita jeda sejenak, tetap bersama kami. Ya, kembali bersama kami di Bincang-Bincang, masih bersama Mr. Tony dan juga Pak Devi. Tadi sudah dikatakan oleh Mr. Tony bahwa kita Sulawesi Utara punya laut yang luar biasa di Teluk Manado, bahkan ini lautnya begitu tenang katanya tadi ya, dan jadi satu destinasi yang sangat menarik untuk paddling begitu ya, bisa paddling dari Teluk Manado sampai ke Bunaken. Nah Pak Devi, kalau kita mengerucut ke sport tourism, ini pariwisata olahraga, sebenarnya kalau lihat Sulawesi Utara ini yang punya potensi paling besar itu sebenarnya olahraga bidang apa?
Kita punya tadi laut yang luar biasa, pantai ya. Jadi pariwisata bahari itu sangat potensial untuk terus dikembangkan. Ya. Diving kita punya taman laut yang luar biasa, dan olahraga diving pun ini sudah sangat dikenal di mancanegara, dan itu perlu dikembangkan terus, termasuk olahraga-olahraga yang terkait dengan air seperti yang disampaikan Mr. Tony, stand up paddle. Stand up paddle ini adalah one of the sport that the growth very fast in the world. Jadi olahraga air yang paling perkembangannya paling cepat di dunia saat ini. Sehingga itu potensial untuk meng-attract wisatawan untuk datang di Sulut ya, karena pehobi atau pelaku ini pegiat olahraga ini banyak sekali di dunia, dan Sulawesi Utara ini menurut saya adalah paradise for paddling.
Sulawesi Utara paradise for paddling. Tapi bagaimana masyarakatnya, tertarik nggak dengan paddling Pak?
Kalau sampai saat ini olahraga stand up paddle ini kurang lebih hampir 3 tahun lah mulai diperkenalkan di sini, dan peminatnya sudah sangat banyak sebetulnya. minat untuk meluncur di air walaupun masih in context of create content of Instagram something like that. Tapi olahraga ini sangat fun ya. Jadi fun and easy sebetulnya ya. Kelihatan susah.
Dari Teluk Manado Pak ke Bunaken fun isi
Ya
gimana
buktinya
tuh?
tadi orang 75 tahun bisa paddling.
Ya. Tidak ketemu ombak besar Pak di perjalanan kah?
Kita perlu membaca situasi juga ya. Kalau memang ada angin barat di sini, kalau angin barat
That's no
west
issue.
winds is very
That's not an issue because when we paddle, we normally make sure that safety is number one.
Safety is number
Right?
one.
So we'll always have a safety board with
Okay.
us. So if let's say we go out and if the wind is very strong, because in stand-up paddling, we have 3 methods of paddling. You stand up when it's nice and the wind is not strong, you can stand up, you can paddle. And for the advanced paddler, if the wind is strong or even if the wave is strong, the current is strong, the advanced paddler can paddle through, no problem.
Can paddle.
Yeah, of course, no problem. Yeah, but for the beginners, if let's say they are paddling from here to Gunakan, and if let's say the wind is strong, and an organized tour must ensure, of course, like what we are doing here, safety is number one, and then because of that, we have a safety boat that follow us. So when we hit the wind, if they cannot paddle, there's nothing to be shy about. Just kneel down or sit down on the board and paddle, and continue your journey. You see, and if let's say a storm comes. You really have no choice, but you still have to get to, let's say, the destination that you want to go. Then we go into what we call prone paddling. We lie down on the board, and then we do what we call like doing a surfer paddling on the board. And we get out of the wind, and then we continue kneeling and then standing paddle again. So
The safety limit itu ombaknya seberapa tinggi?
usually if it is anything like more than 0.5 to 1 meter, most paddler who are new paddler, they will not be able to handle it. The wave will kick them off. Yeah. So this is where when you do SUP, it's good to go for a proper course. You go for a proper course, you learn what you must look out for, and look out for danger, and then be safe when you're paddling. You know, we encourage our paddlers all over our network is that you do not try and paddle alone. You always paddle with somebody. 2 person, you go out, you look out for each other.
Mr. Dre, we always paddle alone.
solo paddle.
Solo paddler, he
Solo
champion.
paddle.
Because our sea is very safe.
Yeah, but
I
because
think
he's
there's so
familiar.
there's so many island here
Yes.
and so many fishermen. We can
Correct.
hide.
So it's very important, safety number one, and if you have safety, then, you know, because this is going to be a sports that I believe is going to grow so big that right now we have boats here that can provide for the tourists. There will come a time when tourists will bring their boat. They bring their own boat and they'll fly in. They will need tour guides from here to bring them around the location. Yeah.
Okay, based on your experience, you see our facilities here. What do you think?
I think your facility here, of course, can be improved. Right now, I see that my only concern is if a safety boat that follow us, ideally, of course, it should be a boat that has got the ability to react fast. Okay, that means we use rubber dinghy, enough rubber dinghy size that can react fast towards anybody that's in trouble. Okay, but when we use a wooden boat, it's good, but at the same time, reaction is slow. So something that we have to rethink about how to use a safety boat. Yeah,
Rubber board is more fast.
rubber dinghy boat, you know, with a power boat, with a power engine.
Okay.
So when we out there, we need to react fast if there's something wrong.
Okay. Itu semacam speedboat, Pak.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a speedboat. That's it.
Ya, digging.
Oke. Dan itu masih kurang di sini, Pak, atau bagaimana?
Ya masih kurang. Kalau
kurang.
kita di school itu punya.
Yeah.
Di mana, Pak?
Di Subschool Manado.
Subschool
Ini dia.
Manado provides.
Mungkin perlu diperkenalkan juga ini. Kita sudah punya SUP
SUP School.
School.
Yes.
Di mana, Pak? Itu tempatnya?
Di bilangan Karangria,
Oke.
Boulevard 2. Jadi itu adalah sekolah stand up paddle yang terakreditasi oleh ASI, Akademi Surfing Instructor, berbasis di base campnya di Australia, di Bondi Beach ya.
Jadi sudah berstandar
Berstandar internasional
Ya.
dan sudah ada instruktur dari sini, dan Mr. Tony one of flight instructor from Singapore.
Oke.
Kalau memang ada pelatihan seperti itu, Mr. Tony bisa terbang dari Singapura untuk sama-sama melatih. Jadi ini sangat potensial untuk dikembangkan di Sulawesi Utara.
Oke. Nah, kira-kira global trend apa sebenarnya yang kita di Sulawesi Utara ini dapat ambil begitu ya untuk meningkatkan kunjungan turis ke Sulawesi Utara? Tapi kita akan cari tahu usai jeda berikut. Ya, kembali bersama kami di Bincang-Bincang. Kita masih membahas soal sport tourism ya bersama Mr. Revi dan juga Mr. Tony. Saya ingin bertanya ke Mr. Tony, what are some global trends in sport tourism that North Sulawesi could leverage to attract more visitors?
I think first of all, North Sulawesi has been very famous for diving. So you already have a big advantage of diving. I know even in my plane coming from Singapore, almost half the plane are from Europe coming here to dive.
To dive,
So you already have a niche there. Now, if you depend on one niche, maybe this is the market you will have. Now, what about bringing in SUP, for example, stand-up paddle, and allowing people to paddle all over your river, your mangrove swamp, your sea, not all around the whole area and all the islands that are available in this part of the world. You know, you have such beautiful place, but unfortunately, not many people are aware of what you have. So, I think the trend now is people wants to travel, people wants to bring their equipment with them, for example, SUP board, or even for those people who are doing wing surf. So they basically bring their wing, which is very light, put on the aircraft, and they can fly here and they can enjoy their surfing in your part of the world. But the potential here is this: for diving, I will not speak for the diving community, but I think for diving, if you, let's say for example, have a diving event here, you want 61 divers to dive for your anniversary, registered with you. Then we get 61 paddlers to come here and paddle on your anniversary. And you imagine windsurfers, 61 windsurfers come here to windsurf and just to celebrate with you. Each sports will have their own community. And social media is very powerful. The minute you put your sports on social media, they identify the location. Next thing, people are going to say, I want to go to this place. This will be my bucket list. I want to come here. So this is how I think slowly the attraction will grow. But having said so much about the sports, I think stand-up paddling has actually over the past 10 years, 15 years, it's gained so much popularity that now if you go to just Southeast Asia alone, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia, every of this country already started stand-up paddling. Yeah, so maybe we don't know. Maybe one of these days in one of our SEA Games, we might have stand-up paddle in the SEA Game. We don't know. But this is a trend. So every sports person, especially in SUP, they want to go and race in different countries.
Oh,
Yeah, we want to go and race. In fact, I just came back from Malaysia racing.
yeah.
Yeah. So when we go out to race, it's not just to race, but also have a community of people and promoting that location that we go to. So, for example, here in North Sulawesi, Manado has been the name that I associate with my friend here, Davy. And because of him, we bring SUP paddlers here. And I think the trend is going to grow because, in fact, next year I'm already planning to bring maybe 3 groups here just for paddling.
Okay.
Now, of course, the other side of the coin is we may not have enough boards for everybody. So,
You can bring it from your country.
no. If we bring the equipment
Very
here, it's a lot of, In fact, my plane here, I have 3 pedals. Scoot, offload my pedal. The pedal did not arrive. Yes, did not arrive. It's coming in maybe tomorrow night.
Because of overload.
Overload. Exactly. So the important thing is here the equipment must be expanded. So of course private sector can expand. However, if there is support from government, it will be excellent. Then you can have a trend of how to increase the fleet of paddleboards.
So you think community involvement is so
Definitely,
crucial?
definitely. In fact, you have a lot of people swimming at the beach. All these community people, they all can be taught how to paddle.
Yeah.
And for all you know, there may be a career on how to become a tour guide for paddling. You know, when I went to your mangrove swamp in the north,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one of your local boys there that bring us into the mangrove swamp. I was amazed by the beauty of the swamp. You know, you have mirror effect on water. Your mangrove swamp is reflected on the water.
Yeah.
You know, and not many places have such things. So here you have it at your backyard, which you can actually promote mangrove swamp paddling, round island paddling,
Yeah.
across island paddling. There's
Baik.
so many opportunities
Yeah.
here.
Begitu banyak potensi pariwisata yang membuat para turis ini kagum ya begitu Pak Drevi. Tapi sayang kita sendiri di sini kurang membuka mata terhadap potensi alam yang begitu luar biasa ini. Bagaimana tanggapannya Pak?
Yeah, that's why I asked them to join, to
Yeah.
come to North Sulawesi,
Yeah.
for make everybody open their mind and
Correct.
yeah.
And I must say also that it's not just paddling here. Your food here is very good.
Itu salah satu daya tariknya. Jadi selain alamnya, makanannya juga luar biasa katanya.
Jadi alam kita itu luar biasa dan tidak dimiliki oleh negara lain ya. Saya bisa katakan seperti itu. Seperti Singapura, mereka tidak bisa memiliki pulau-pulau yang sangat indah dan terjangkau untuk melakukan olahraga seperti paddling ya.
Iya. Bahkan dari luar ingin ke sini untuk pedal. Mungkin kita butuh bikin makin banyak open trip pedal begitu Pak atau bagaimana
Ya
Pak?
memang kita perlu
Untuk lokal
open
ini.
trip, kemudian butuh event yang di
Or
Indonesia,
race.
ya,
Or
race, international race, dan ini barangkali akan dilakukan untuk perayaan anniversary North Sulawesi. I will invite you,
Thank you
please
so
come and ask them to join Malaysia, Japan, or China. Your student can join to make a crowd to race in a North Sulawesi
North
anniversary.
Sulawesi. Jadi akan diundang nanti ya,
Ya,
untuk ulang tahun Provinsi Sulawesi Utara.
karena
September nanti.
ulang tahun North Sulawesi ini Pak Gubernur menyampaikan bahwa ini bukan sekedar event saja, tapi ini event yang harus memperkenalkan dan bisa meng-attract orang atau turis atau siapa saja dari luar. Jadi ini jadi event pariwisata.
Oke, akan jadi event pariwisata
dan
ya.
Dayung adalah salah satu event yang akan dilaksanakan pada event anniversary North Sulawesi.
Nah, tentu dengan potensi yang luar biasa yang kita punya untuk mengembangkannya tidak mudah ya. Tentu ada tantangan-tantangan yang harus dihadapi. Kira-kira apa sebenarnya itu? Kita akan cari tahu saja berikut. Ya, kita sudah bahas banyak hal ya mengenai sport tourism ini dan ternyata memang bukan dari kita yang terkagum-kagum tapi malah turis asal Singapura sangat kagum dengan alam Sulawesi Utara yang sangat indah, punya mangrove yang indah, bawah laut yang indah. Tapi sayang ini kayaknya orang Sulawesi Utara sendiri kurang minatnya atau bagaimana ini Pak Drevi melihat? Apa karena menjadi pemandangan sehari-hari atau seperti apa?
Bisa dikatakan seperti itu juga. Jadi memang laut kita ini, air ini itu dikagumi oleh orang luar ya. Tapi tidak banyak masyarakat yang bisa kita lihat mengakses atau beraktivitas di laut selain nelayan. Gitu. Jadi potensi
Malah lebih
itu.
suka liburan keluar kemana, padahal di daerahnya sendiri
Ya,
itu luar biasa kalau
Jadi
dieksplor ya.
saya itu pegiat atau penikmat olahraga air ya, kayaking, stand up paddle,
Ya.
dan ketika saya bermain di Teluk Manado ini dan saya posting ke media sosial, itu dari luar biasa tanggapannya karena ketika saya bilang ketika saya berada di Teluk Manado, kita bisa we can see all surrounding there is a mountain. Manado Tua,
Yes.
Tumpak,
Yes.
Dua Saudara, Kelabat,
The five
Lokon. Yeah. It's
Beautiful.
very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you cannot find in
Yeah.
over the world.
Especially when I paddle out, when I look at the mountain, it's just like,
Yeah, make you fresh and calm. Yeah.
Yep.
Healing ya.
Ya, ada satu teman dari Mr. Tony katakan bahwa ketika kita paddling dayung dari Tongkaina ke Bunaken, dia bilang, Drevi, ini pagi yang paling indah selama ini
yeah.
buat saya.
Ya, ya,
Ketika
ya,
ada di Bunaken, saya tidak pernah merasakan suasana, passion, ambience seperti ini. Luar biasa. Dia bilang, ini terima kasih. Ini adalah pagi yang paling indah dalam hidupnya. Bayangkan.
Luar biasa.
Begitu.
itu yang mungkin apakah kita apa tadi yang saya katakan mungkin masih kurang ya open trip di
Iya,
Manado
iya.
untuk warga lokal mungkin. Paddling kan jarang juga gitu.
Iya, jarang.
Kebanyakan open tripnya ke Bunaken, tapi untuk paddling kayaknya masih kurang
Nah,
Pak. Ya,
itulah
harus ditingkatkan ini kayaknya.
special interest tourism itu dia butuh enrich skill.
Ya.
Begitu. Jadi tadi kan ada resiko-resiko yang harus kita perhatikan, ada faktor safety, ada faktor teknik skill. Nah, ini barangkali memang perlu diangkat supaya orang mau belajar. Ya, jadi paddling itu not just for fun,
Yeah.
but first safety, teknik and fun. Ya, jadi ini kadang-kadang kita kebalik, mau fun, jadi akhirnya ya cuma main sekedar main. Tapi padahal kalau teknik dan safety-nya kita betul-betul miliki, kita bisa dayung ke Manado Tua.
Oke.
Dan itu luar biasa itu perasaannya bisa mencapai antar pulau. Dan kita punya pulau-pulau di Sulut ini yang bisa terjangkau gitu.
Iya, iya, iya.
Ya, belum lagi kalau kita
Berapa
bisa.
lama Pak dari sini ke
Kalau dari sini ke Manado Tua itu
Manado Tua?
sekitar 4 jam.
4 jam?
Ya.
Bunaken
Bunaken 1 jam setengah.
1 jam tapi dari
Dari
Tongkaina.
Manado Bay sini.
Dari Manado
Ya.
Bay.
Kalau dari Tongkaina itu 45 menit sampai 1 jam.
Oke. Nah, ini tantangannya apa Pak sebenarnya untuk mengembangkan sport tourism yang sekarang ini kita hadapi?
Ya, interest ya, minat dari masyarakat. Memang kita punya laut yang bagus, tapi tidak banyak masyarakat yang mengakses itu.
Nah,
Ya
itu
itu
dia.
memang mungkin sudah dari dulu, makanya kita kerja keras sekarang untuk
Iya.
bagaimana mensosialisasi, mempromosi sampai kita
Iya.
mendirikan ya bisa dikatakan stand up paddle school yang bertaraf internasional, sehingga masyarakat mau mulai melihat bahwa ini adalah olahraga yang potensial, yang bisa dikembangkan di Sulawesi Utara dan menjadi salah satu atraksi wisata yang bisa mendatangkan turis dan meningkatkan ekonomi masyarakat. Seperti itu.
Oke. Mr.
Maybe I
Tony,
can share with
yeah.
you how to. A lot of people wants to promote tourism in their location, but of course there are many factors. Of course, the first factor is the place must be attractive.
Okay.
You have an attractive place.
We already have it.
Yeah, you already have an attractive place. So now the next question is, I will just share with you the 3 pillars. I call it the 3 pillars. The first pillar is what we call management thinking. So management will be involved, for example, in this place here, the provincial leaders, the whoever is governing this place. These are the management, like stakeholders. These are the management. They already know what they want to do. They want to increase tourism. They want to bring more people here. Then the second thing is you must train your people. The second pillar is your people must be trained.
Okay.
For example, they must be trained to be good guides.
Yeah.
They must be trained to be good instructors. They must be trained also to ensure that they know how to take care of the customers when they come into your environment.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, when we send people for training, they will learn something. In any training you send anybody for training, they will learn something in the school, in the training center, they will learn something. But when they come back to the environment to serve, because of management thinking, the process and the system needs to adjust to fit these people who are coming in to do the work, to take care of the tourists.
Yeah.
So I sum it up in first, management thinking.
Management thinking.
Second one is your people must be trained.
Yeah.
Then the third one, the process and the system must be fine-tuned to allow these people who are trained to become effective in what they are doing.
Yeah.
Then you have a really good combination.
Yeah.
Then when you do all your your social media, your marketing, and of course, because this place is so far away, you need to ensure that the accessibility to this
Yeah.
place. That means all the airlines involved flying into Manado
Yeah.
needs to understand that the tourism here are serious about promoting this place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then more people will come. Ships will come. You know, people who are using ferries, the ships, the what I call the passenger ferry can come here also.
Cruise
So all
line.
these are all, you know, I will put it in a nutshell. This three pillar, and then everything is connected.
Yeah.
Once you get that in place, then maybe who knows, I might come here and stay more often.
Must build a good system.
Yes, definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
because once you have that system in place, then people are aware that, you know, I may be, let's say if I'm a citizen living here, I know that this is a tourist place. If I see a tourist, I will not just walk past a tourist, I will just wave, hi, hello, and make them happy.
Yeah,
Because they are happy, they will stay, they will spend their money.
Yeah.
And that's what helps the economy. And then because more people come means more people has to be trained.
Yeah.
Then the schools, the universities have to train the people. Sports center like yours
Yeah.
needs to train more instructors. Then that's how the whole process comes. Yeah?
Hospitality.
Correct.
Harus ditingkatkan, Pak, ya?
Yeah, and all these things does not take like 1 month, 2 months.
Yeah.
It takes a vision from the management, which is
Yeah.
the leaders in this province, looking and say, yes, we want tourism. So what's next thing we need to do? We need to train our people.
Yeah.
We need to look at our system, how to make it friendly so that people can come
Yeah.
and they can come here. They feel safe. They will enjoy their stay here.
Okay.
Okay, if a tourist come to Manado spend more than a week, you have already make it. Meaning they are willing to spend 1 week. You know, in many places, people just go in 1 day, 2 day, they fly out. And that's not tourism.
Yeah.
You want the people to come here, stay 1 week, stay 2 weeks, stay 21 days, and then they can see the people, they can see the environment,
Yeah.
and they can see the whole place for themselves. That's what tourism is all about.
Ya, tentunya ini butuh integrasi yang luar biasa,
Iya.
Pak ya. Kita harus butuh pariwisata yang terintegrasi juga. Kira-kira bagaimana strategi dari pemerintah terkait hal ini? Kita akan bahas usai jeda berikut. Ya, terima kasih Anda masih bersama kami. Kita sudah sampai di akhir segmen bincang-bincang kita mengenai pengembangan sport tourism di Sulawesi Utara. Tadi luar biasa tanggapan dari Pak Tony bahwa kita harus membangun satu sistem begitu ya, agar betul-betul wisatawan tidak hanya tinggal di Sulawesi Utara 1-2 hari, tapi boleh menetap lebih lama, mungkin 1 minggu, bahkan sampai berbulan-bulan ya ada di tempat kita. Nah itu Pak, tentu ada satu sistem, ada satu pariwisata yang terintegrasi juga yang harus kita bangun di sini. Itu bagaimana tanggapannya?
Ya, memang membangun pariwisata ini lintas sektoral ya.
Ya.
Ya, tidak hanya segmen pariwisata saja. Ada satu konsep pentahelix pariwisata yang
Ya.
bisa mendorong pengembangan pariwisata yang harus betul-betul berkolaborasi. Ya, ada ABCGM di situ, akademisi, bisnis, government, society dan media.
Ya.
Gitu ya. Jadi community and media. Nah, ini perlu kolaborasi yang luar biasa untuk bagaimana kita bekerja sama untuk membangun pariwisata ya. Dan masyarakat ini adalah jadi sentral, jadi inti yang memang harus betul-betul aware, sadar bahwa kita memiliki potensi alam pariwisata yang luar biasa.
Iya.
Apakah itu alam maupun nature tadi, culture, nature, kuliner tadi.
Iya, iya.
Jadi persoalan hospitality ini memang perlu kita tingkatkan, dan ini harus kerjasama multi pihak.
Ya. Padahal kan memang pemerintah dari semenjak pemerintahan sebelumnya ingin mewujudkan Bali-Bali baru
Ya.
dan salah satunya kan ada di Sulawesi Utara ini. Kalau dilihat Pak Direktur bagaimana, mengapa kita susah? Kita punya pantai yang begitu indah, bahkan pantai-pantai kita bisa dikatakan lebih indah mungkin dari Bali.
Sangat lebih.
Tapi mengapa kita tidak bisa membuat satu kawasan wisata yang seperti Bali begitu Pak?
Ya, bahkan
Masalahnya di mana kalau dilihat Pak?
sebenarnya kalau program waktu yang lalu itu menciptakan 10 Bali baru, North Sulawesi itu bahkan lebih daripada sekedar 10 Bali baru, dan kawasan destinasi yang super prioritas, bahkan lebih super priority. Jadi memang sulit ini untuk happening, harus making something gitu ya. Contohnya destinasi super prioritas itu, ataupun pengembangan kawasan-kawasan wisata baru yang memang betul-betul akan menjadi sorotan dunia, sehingga pelaku investasi akan masuk dan mata akan memandang ke situ. Karena potensi kita, kekayaan alam dan budaya kita luar biasa, yang sudah jadi dasar. Tinggal bagaimana kita kemas ini dan membangun.
Mungkin butuh investornya yang masih kurang atau seperti apa?
Ya, secara pasti itu ya.
Ya.
Jadi ketika kita mau mengembangkan kawasan wisata itu pasti butuh dan mengundang investor yang akan datang seperti itu.
Okay. Mr. Tony, what are some effective ways to foster collaboration between international tourism operator like yourself, local business, and government bodies in North Sulawesi to create world-class sport tourism products?
You need to get your people involved also.
Okay.
Your local people needs to be aware that if you are promoting tourism, then they are also part of the people who are representing the country. They are also part of the tourism, you know, and that also means that all your shops, you know, in your city. I don't know whether you have a tourism board here, because in Singapore we have what we call the Singapore Tourism Board. They actually go to shops and certify them that this is tourist friendly.
Friendly.
Yeah, and so once people see the tourist friendly, they go to the shop, they know that if there's a problem, they can go to the tourism board and give feedback.
Okay.
You see? So most of the shops here, I know that currently when I'm traveling around, they are serving a lot of their own local people. But if you start to bring tourists in, then the upgrading has to be done slowly but surely has to improve. Because if you come to any place that is clean and nice, you will go home with a good impression.
Okay.
If you come back, like you come back, you go to a place that is not so clean, and you will go home also thinking of that place is not so clean. Do you think I want to come back to this place? Right? So for North Sulawesi, I think because we are paddling, we will meet a lot of plastics on the water.
Okay.
And this is not only Indonesia problem. This is a worldwide problem. Okay, plastic is no for the sea, because the sea animal, the creatures in the sea, they are all suffering, right? So unfortunately, the education part is not very coming forth hard. We educate our people that when you are supposed to throw rubbish, there must be a place for them to throw. But if you don't create that place for them to throw, they will throw anywhere. So then the thing is going back to system and process. If we make a system that, okay, you have rubbish in this room, this is the place you throw. You educate your people, throw here. Everybody will throw here. But if you don't educate them, then they will throw everywhere. Then the next you know, you go and do snorkeling, instead of seeing a fish, you see plastics in the water, then that's not a good impression for tourism.
And you found so many plastic here?
Here, many plastics.
Okay.
Plastic is a big problem. Not only here, I can tell you,
A worldwide problem.
it's a worldwide problem.
Oke. Bagaimana Pak tanggapannya menjelang penutupan karena ini waktunya ternyata terasa sudah hampir sejam kita bincang-bincang. Sekalian tanggapan atau saran yang terakhir untuk mengembangkan pariwisata khususnya sport tourism di Sulawesi Utara, Pak.
Ya, dalam rangka mengembangkan pariwisata minat khusus ya, berbasis sport tourism, kita memang akan ke depan butuh banyak event untuk meng-attract orang. Karena sekali kita disorot oleh dunia dan melihat keindahan alam ini akan bergulir terus.
Dan ini sudah masuk agenda pemerintah Provinsi Sulawesi Utara ya?
Ini akan masuk agenda di perayaan hari ulang tahun North Sulawesi di bulan September. Salah satu adalah stand up paddle, kayak dan dragon boat. You supposed to hear bring people, so many people to Singapore, Malaysia.
I just need your dates.
Mr. Tony sudah minta tanggalnya kapan ya?
I just need your date because without dates I cannot plan. Maybe I share some insight here.
Okay.
When you plan an event, if let's say you want to plan an event in Manado in September, I will tell you your runway is very short. Too short. We plan event, we need to plan at least for now, I'm planning for next year,
1 year.
February, March, June, September.
Okay.
So you need to plan now for next year. So you are this year finishing what you planned from last year. So the thinking must change. You cannot say, tomorrow I want an event, then okay, we have the money, we plan the event. No. You plan the event, then you go and look for the money and say, we need this so that more tourists can come in.
Okay.
That must be.
Okay.
Jadi planning dulu Pak, uangnya belakangan katanya.
Next year will be
good.
Fit.
Because next year I'm coming back.
Oke, luar biasa. Sayang sekali waktu kita sangat terbatas. Jadi ini jadi bukti bahwa betul-betul Sulawesi Utara sangat dikagumi oleh turis luar negeri ya. Tinggal tanggalnya Pak ditunggu, tanggal eventnya kapan ya. Mudah-mudahan akan semakin banyak event internasional di Sulawesi Utara. Terima kasih Pak Drevi. Terima kasih, thank you for joining us today, Mr. Tony Lee. Ya, sampai di sini dulu perjumpaan kita di Bincang-Bincang edisi kali ini. Saya Regina Mangkei pamit undur diri. Kawan Wa TV, Torang P TV, mari jawab siar ke Sulawesi Utara.